boy DJ Wolf here. I got let me adjust this thing a little bit here. Okay, yeah, there we go. Alright, I got something on my mind here. I was watching the YouTube channel last night. I'm just wondering if I should even say her name. Nah, but anyway, it's a female. I was watching. I'll put it like this. I'm not gonna say the name. I'll say the initials of the channel. B. All right. If you watch her channel, you know what I'm talking about. And she talk about all different kind of stuff. All right. Now, the channel question. She has interviewed Monique on her channel, and she did a live broadcast last night referencing Monique's quote-unquote struggle with Netflix. Okay. First of all, I talked about it before, and I actually made some comments about it last night, and basically just said Netflix hires, because that's really what they're doing. They're contracting you out. They're not an employer, at least when it comes to the big name people like that, like herself, or Dave Chappelle, or Amy Schumer, or Chris Rock. They are contracting you. That's why they pay that kind of money. They're contracting you to do a service. Okay? Now, when they contract you based on your relevancy. Okay? Yeah, part of it is your track record, but your relevancy to do with your track record and your popularity among the fans in general. Okay? You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot just base it off of one group of people when it comes to your fanship, because remember, we're only 13% of the population. So if we're only 13% of the population, how the hell could you just base it off that number alone? Okay? You have to have a big following. Okay? Chris Rock, Amy Schumer, and Dave Chappelle all got one thing in common. They got huge followings. Okay? Monique has a huge following herself, but her huge following does not compare to theirs. I know that for a fact. It is not. It is not. You know? Let's be real about it. Okay? Monique also has a net worth that's been reported in several outlets. A net worth of $13 million. Okay? I just found that out this morning. Somebody else had reported it last night as well. Okay? I also reported on that channel. To say this. If Monique wanted to fight her battles, or wanted to have her battles fought, she has her own personal resources to fight it. You know, she asking poor people to fight her battles because she's doing it for poor people. That's the biggest load of bullshit I ever heard. You know, that sounds like some old Umar shit. You know, but that's another story. I won't get it. I already said I gotta say about that brother. You know, and I ain't got nothing personal against him, but it's what I said. Watch my podcast. You know what I'm talking about. You know, but personally, to tell you the truth, that in itself is BS. You know, now I haven't known, and other people have said on YouTube, what has she known to actually do that was significant for black folks in the community, other than her talking about why she's trying to get this money. You know, she fooling y'all. You know, it's all talk. Monique ain't about trying to get that money for no black people. She trying to get that money for herself. Let's be real. All right? Let's be totally honest about that. It has nothing to do with black people at all. Not a damn thing. What she doing as far as trying to get that $20 million is about her. You know? She's already worth $13 million now. So just think about what I'm saying. And I ain't hating on her because she got the money. Hey, God bless her for it, man. She's worked for it. She really has. She is a very brilliant comedian. She's a very funny comedian. Don't get me wrong. You know? But her fan base ain't like the other three comedians. Let's be real about that. And then this person who has a channel called BB had the fucking audacity to try to throw Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock under the bus because they actually work with white people on their comedy and stuff like that. So what? You know, How do you think, for the most part, most comedians, okay, the most comedians, even Kevin Hart, you know how they get huge? Not only by just their own comedy, but working with other writers. That's the bulk of them. They've been doing this forever. You could take this all the way back to the days of Bob Hope, Milton Berle, Jerry Lewis, and Dean Martin. Those guys work with writers. Okay, they all have. They all have. You know? And they became the biggest names in Hollywood. You know? And of course, the bulk of those guys were white. Okay? If I'm not mistaken, I think Flip Wilson had and I'm not quoted, don't quote me on it, I don't know that for a fact, but I do know George Carlin did work for Flip Wilson. That's pretty well known, okay? Jimmy Walker worked with David Letterman. He was a former, David Letterman was a former writer of Jimmy Walker's, okay? So my thing is, to sit there and try, to talk about what Dave Chappelle will work with these white guys, and he's been around white guys, blah, blah, blah. So what? That's not the point. You're trying to make apples out of oranges, but you're trying to say that's the reason why he's making the kind of money he's making. Again, so what? The thing of it is, he's making the money because of the type of talent and success that he is that brings it to the table, okay? So what? He has he's working with white writers. Big fucking deal. Big fucking deal. She's basically trying to say that's an influence on how he's able to get the money he makes. No, he's able to get the money he makes because he broadens his expansion to a wider audience. That's how you make the kind of money, bitch. Seriously. That's how you make that money. You don't make that money just sitting there, and keeping it under wraps. You gotta think outside the box with your career. Literally. Okay? Oh my God, this woman, man. I'm talking about not necessarily Monique, but I'm talking about the woman who interviewed Monique on her YouTube channel. She's a trip. She's a stone trip. And I had to say what I had to say about her because, to be honest, she always go way left field about shit and don't really use any real logic. So she challenged me this morning. I think it was late last night, this morning. And so I made a comment about relevancy in talent and popularity is what gets you those kind of big deals on Netflix, which is true. And I mentioned something about something I said to her regarding Monique, and she it was something to do with her not I don't know. Anyway, you had to watch her channel, what I'm talking about. But anyway, basically, she tried to challenge me on something, and I actually had to prove my point to her by referring her to watching the Sway Show, where Monique was trying to say that Netflix was her only option. Where else? What else is there? Because a guy asked her about how many did she go to any other streaming internet channels other than Netflix, and she didn't answer the question. She actually didn't answer the question, but her answer was because what else is there? And like I told her, I said mainly because her ass, okay, didn't bother to go to any other channels, and I think she did go to other channels, but what happened was Netflix was her best option, and might have been her last option. From what I'm thinking, if you're saying because what else is there, because you say you have no other choice. There's nothing else out there but Netflix, which wasn't true. But apparently, Netflix gave her the best deal that she could get, based on her relevancy and popularity. And I'm not saying that she shouldn't get the kind of money that she feels she deserves. I think $20 million is far-fetched for her. I'm not gonna lie. I really do. She hadn't put out any big, she put out some specials, but they had been like Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock type specials. She hadn't. She hadn't really been in any big movies like Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock. She hasn't directed any movies that I know of. That's raining today. So my thing of it is, I don't hate Monique. I actually love Monique. She actually used to date Gerald Levert. You know, the late Gerald Levert. I think they used to date. But I mean, they had a thing for each other. He had a thing for her. She had a thing for him. I mean, that's in the public eye. They were supposed to be an idol at one time. You know. But I'm gonna leave that alone. But nevertheless, I don't hate her. You know, I loved her on the Parkers. I really did. I actually like some of her movies. Some of them. You know, let's put it like that. Some of them. But $20 million for her? Nah. But black people, or if Amy Schumer get $20 million, she should get $20 million. Truthfully, I wouldn't give Amy Schumer $5 million, to tell you the truth. And I'm being totally honest about that. But Monique, I do think should get a couple million. I think based on what she has brought to the table, and I have to agree. But Netflix is not basing it about what you brought to the table. They base it on your relevancy and your audience. They have to base their audience. You know, why would they spend that kind of money on you if you don't have an audience that's wide enough to actually that makes you a proven superstar as far as your comedy? You know, that's all I'm saying. You know, but people are always, she got an Oscar. She got an Oscar. So the Oscar should matter to bring her the reason why she can get a lot of money. On some respects, I kind of agree with that. It's not gonna get you no $20 million for what you're doing. You know, because you're doing primarily comedy anyway. You haven't done a lot of drama. You know, but then again, neither Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle, but Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock has done big comedy. You know. Although I take that back, Chris Rock has done a couple of dramas, so one of them was New Jack City. So, anyway, man, it's raining like crazy out here. Alright guys, well, I got more to say. I'm gonna go back and listen to the channel BB, you know, and listen to more of that B that she's talking about. Alright. It's DJ Wolf. Of course, questions or comments, you are welcome to comment on my channel here. My channel is For All To Hear TV. Man, it's wet out here. That's FOR number 2 ALLHEAR For All To Hear TV. My email address are djwolflive@aol.com and djwolflive@gmail.com. Please hit me up on both. Good comments, bad comments, I really don't care. You know, because we can mix it up and we can just talk about it. You know, either way, just talk about it. You know, and try to figure out maybe she is trying to prove the point. After all, she's worth $13 million, so maybe she is doing this to prove the point. I don't know. But like I said, I wish nothing but success for her. I really do. I would like to saw in more movies myself, to tell you the truth. But in Hollywood, and I have to agree with Lee Daniels on some respect, you have to play the game. At some point, you got to play the game. You want to stay afloat in Hollywood because you don't own anything in Hollywood? Best you play the game first, because that's how it works. You know, you can't sit there and call the shots if you hadn't played the game. You know? And that's, I think, what Lee Daniels was saying. And I have to agree with him. You know? You don't own anything in Hollywood. You don't run a studio. You don't have a big production company. You know, I'm just saying. So you can only do but so much in Hollywood unless you can actually have something that you own that's big enough where you can call a shot. And until that time, you got to play the game. And I totally agree with him on that. You have to. In life, when it comes to you, us regular people working on jobs and stuff, we have to play the game. We have to actually toe the line and play the game to survive out here. Now, you gonna tell me it's any different with her? No, it's not. It's really not. You know, it's funny that we want to be able to say this, that, and the other, but then we don't own anything where we can actually call the shots. So you don't have much of a choice. All right, guys, this is DJ Wolf. It's kind of wet out here. Let me concentrate on this while I listen to BB. So, you know, that channel on YouTube that I'm talking about, I don't want to say it, but I just reference the mission. I'm out.